What's going on, YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross video. In this video, we're talking about the Knighthood boss, the guild boss that you guys have probably been trying out. Came out on Sunday. We get a week long to keep trying at it. I'm going to give you guys some of the best team comps, some of the best units to use while you're in there, show you guys how I did it, give you guys a run, and show you what my score was, because it's pretty good. Not the best, but it's pretty good. So let's get into it. Alright guys, if you head into your Knighthood, you're going to be able to fight the Knighthood boss battle now, and it's going to be a weekly thing you guys are going to be able to do. Depending on your weekly Knighthood activities, you guys are going to get an SSR pendant, which we do need a lot of in this game. SR pendants are a little bit more rare. If you head over here to Knighthood rank, you're going to be able to see some of the top Knighthoods, you know, how they're doing in their total points. You can go to rewards to see what you guys can get depending on where you're ranked. So right now, Nerd Society is at top 2%, so we're going to be able to get our hands on 400 guild coins, which is going to be great because there's a ton of stuff in the shop I want to buy, including SR pendants, which seem to be the rarest thing in the game right now because you need 10 to like limit break some of your units. And then we head over to the Knighthood members, and you can see exactly how, you know, what they're doing, how your members are doing. Maybe help out a member that's not doing that well, or if you're one of the members not doing that well, maybe contact another member that you saw do well and try to get some pointers on how the fight's going to go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to head and click this button right here, and it's going to take us into the Dimensional Rift normal version, and we're going to go ahead and fight the guild boss. Now, you can fight this guild boss over and over and over again. It costs you absolutely nothing, and that's what makes it fun. You are going to need some RNG when fighting this boss, depending on what cards you get, depending on how well you do, depending if the boss hits you too hard or crits you. You know, that's all going to be a big factors in this. The only thing it's going to cost you is if you decide to eat food, which I think you should to get the high scores, it's going to cost you your food to do that. So if we go ahead and click down here at the little hourglass in the bottom right, we can see everything we're going to have our score based on. You know, we get 10 points for beating it on normal, which I think is the only one that's available right now. If we move skills, it's worth 3 points. Not using skills, worth 5 points. Combine skills to rank them up, 3 points. So if you combine 2 to make them go up. Use rank 1 skills, 1 point. Rank 2 skills, 3 points. Rank 3 skills, 10 points. Use an ultimate move, 20 points. Number of applied debuffs plus 5 points. So every time you debuff this boss, you're getting 5 points. Every time you apply a buff to your team, you get 2 points. And that applies to every single unit. So like Guild Thunder is going to go and buff all of your units. That's plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. Because 2 times 4 is 8. And then use recovery skill as plus 5. Crit damage occurrence. So if you do crit, you're going to get plus 5 there. You get, points proportional to the number of surviving heroes, so you don't want anybody to die. Additional points provided for the remaining HP, so you want to keep your HP pretty high. Points provided for how high your combat class is, so if your team's doing really well, you know, you've been gearing them up and leveling them up, you're going to get more points for that. Additional proportion to the greatest damage dealt against enemies, so your big old crit or your big ultimate that you do, that's why using a freeze, we'll talk about that in a minute, it's going to be great. The more damage you do, you get more points, and then you also get points deducted as the turns go on. So you want to kind of kill this boss as fast as possible while, you know, using as many ults as you can, because plus 20 points is absolutely insane, while also getting, as you know, combining all the cards. And then every week there are going to be special applied missions that you guys are going to be able to do. Like this week it is, if you have a demon hero in your team, you automatically get 10 points. If your team is over 90,000, you get plus 15 points. And if you use rank 2 skills 3 times, you get 35 points. This week, I would suggest only doing the 15 and 35 point. It depends on what your team is. If you guys can fit a demon unit in there, go ahead. But again, the units that are going to be strong here and every time are going to be units that heal, units that debuff, units that buff, and then units can just do mad amounts of damage, and that's what we have here in our team right now. We have Gustav, which is going to be able to debuff as in crit, or excuse me, as in put the ice on, that's going to be able to do more damage, right? Because with his skill, if we go ahead and click on him right here, with this skill right here, if you rank it up to rank 2, 80% more damage on frozen targets, so you freeze, and then you have your big damage come in, it'll do 80% more, but what you really want to do is get lucky and get the tier 3 card that's 200% more damage. It could be Gustav, it could be Merlin, either way, you want to use one of those two that you have to be in your guild boss fight this week. Next up, I think an all-star is Helbram. This guy right here, everything he does is getting you massive points. First off, we do have his S1, which is going to poison, even at the, skill 1, excuse me, even at the first tier is going to poison, so that's a debuff. So you're doing a little bit of damage and you're debuffing. The next skill is going to be a buff. So it's going to put all attack-related stats up by 30%. So it's going to be 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 down the line because you're going to be using 4 units, and they're all going to be fighting at the same time. You're going to get 4 abilities you can do per turn. And then his ultimate, obviously, is going to get you 20 points if you can cast it. So that's great, right? He's fantastic for this fight because he's going to be able to buff you up to do more damage and debuff the boss and get you all those points. Next up, we are fighting a red boss today when we do fight this boss for this week, but I'm still using Jericho, guys. Jericho is absolutely a monster when it comes to the most damage potential in the game. She's going to be outstanding, and she also provides a debuff. She puts a bleed out on her S1, so we're going to be using her either for her ultimate or making sure there's a debuff, and using this ability right here that hits extremely hard, 275% of attack, 3 times against debuffed enemies. The boss is going to be debuffed. We have so many debuffs we can do, and that's what we're going to be using Jericho for. So she's going to be our big damage dealing ability. You guys can use Blue Slater. Blue SSR Elizabeth Hawk has been known to do really well in this fight, and then I'm using King for one to help with my overall CC, because he is actually like my most buffed up character next to Jericho, but he also has some great things. He can CC on an S2 here. He can petrify, so that's going to get us some debuff points, and then his ultimate just does absurd amount of damage. It's big damage. It's going to help out a lot when I'm trying to do, you know, if maybe Jericho is incapacitated some way, she's not going to be able to do that awesome damage. He can provide that damage, and he can heal. So if I get up to tier 2 of this card, I can put a heal on everybody, so I want more HP by the end of the fight. Gets rid of all those nasty debuffs. This boss poisons you and all kinds of other stuff, and and then the heal counts as extra points as well. So King is all right. I kind of wish I had the green SSR Elizabeth though, because she puts up everybody's ultimate, and that's going to be great. I do want to go back here. Let's see. Let's hold on here. Actually, let me click on him. Go to the hero box. A couple of heroes that I think would be great that I don't have. Arthur is number 1. If I had Arthur, he would be in this team. So if you have Arthur, you want to use him, right? Because he's going to be able to do damage. His ultimate does damage enough, but won't kill the box. That's one of the things you're going to run into in this boss fight, guys, is you'll start doing, once you get up there and your team's leveled up, you start doing too much damage. So the boss will die before you get everything out that you want to get out. And killing him fast is cool, but you also need to get points up. So you don't want to be doing too much damage. Gil Thunder is a great option, again, buffing everybody, but the problem is his other ability where he does the lightning really doesn't do anything. So that's why I like Helbram more, right? Helbram buffs everybody just like Gil Thunder. However, Helbram also has the debuff ability, which is going to be fantastic. Again, I'd use Arthur like you wouldn't believe. And the SSR Green Elizabeth Healer, first off, is going to heal, keep your HP up, and make sure nobody dies. Also puts ultimate gauges up. She gets her ultimate really quick. As well, so she's going to be able to use the ultimate. It's just going to be a fantastic. I wish I had that unit. She would be on the team instead of King. I would level her up. Now, when talking about food, guys, what food should I eat? Well, it really depends on where you're at. If you're not over to 90,000, eat CC food. Put that combat class food on, so you can get that combat class over 90%, or 90,000, excuse me, so you can get this 15 points, because that's going to add up eventually down the road. Next up, if you're using somebody like Jericho, crit damage 20% food doesn't seem too bad, right? Because, you know, that's her whole thing. She will crit, she will do crit damage. If you have it up by 20%, she's going to do even more and help you with that big finishing move that you need to be able to do to get most points. And then HP food could be great for you if you're having trouble surviving, or you want your HP to be higher at the end so you get more points. Make sure everybody's good to go. That's an option. And then also ultimate food, which is what I normally use to make sure I can try to get as much ultimate in there as I can, and get it up, all the ultimate gauge up, so I can use as many as I can before I end up killing the boss, because I think that's very important. So obviously you have a lot of options when it comes to food, and it's really going to come down to how your team comp works and what you want to be doing with your team comp. Now, this is a lot of RNG, guys. When you first enter the battle, which I'll show you guys in a minute, you're going to be giving one of every card that that your team has. So you're going to be getting 2 cards each of each person. So you're going to get their S1 and their S2, and you're going to be able to choose from there. When we go into this fight, you are going to try to manipulate it so that you can cast 3 S2 skills, 2 skills 3 times, so rank 2 skills 3 times, and you're going to want to try to get a gold card from my boy Gustav that freezes, so you get that 200% damage from your main damage dealer, along with trying to do as much ultimates as possible. So it's going to be a lot of RNG, right? If I get in this fight and I never see another freeze card, the run's kind of over. Like, I'm not saying that you can't get a high score, but you really want to get that gold card. That's how I got my top score. If we go back, I got up to 500. It says 25 down here. For some reason, it says 32 right here. I don't know why it does that, but I got up to like 520, 530, which I think is pretty good for me. It took me a lot of runs. I probably ran it like 30 times already, and that might not be a lot to you. Maybe you've run it more than that, but that's how many times I've ran it. So it's going to be, and you could do it again over and over and over. If you know, the only thing it's going to cost you is food. So it's going to help your guild get higher up in the rankings, get more guild coins, and help out. It's a cool thing you guys can do and practice on. It's like a little practice boss too, which is fun. So what I want to move on to now, after you guys have your team built up, remember you want to use buffers, debuffers, healers, damage dealers, all that kind of good stuff, and Gustav or Merlin. I'm going to move into actually fighting and show you guys an in-battle run, and hopefully we can get a high score. So we want to eat our food before we get into battle, so we're going to go ahead and go down to I'm going to use ultimate food, so we're going to use honey apple pie, because I want to be using as much ultimates as I can, and then we're going to go ahead and start into battle. And remember, guys, when we start out, we're going to have one of each of our skills from our allies here, our team. So we're gonna have one of each of them. So we're gonna have 2, 2, 2, 2 all the way down the line. You're not gonna get any doubles, sadly, at the beginning. You're kind of stuck with what you have. On top of that, if we look at the bottom right when we load in here, you can see a checklist, and it slowly does go up as you start doing damage and doing your things you need to the boss. If we click this, you can kind of keep track of like how your run's going, how well you've done. Make sure you use those 2 skill, or those 3 skill, or rank 2 skills, excuse me, right there, and etc. So you can go through. So our plan with this fight is to eventually get a couple of ultimates ready to go, get a tier 3 freeze, and also get like a tier 2. We need to use 3 tier 2 abilities, which I'm hoping are going to be a heal, a buff right here, and then something else, right? So some of the abilities we don't really care about early on are going to be like this king ability here. We're going to use Jericho's abilities because 1, we want to get her ultimate, and 2, we want to use her crit chance up that she gets every time she does an ability. She gets, that's her passive, she gets 10% crit chance, so we want to do that. Also that skill debuffs, which is going to be great for our score. This skill right here debuffs, and sadly the only skill that doesn't matter is this one right here from Gustav. It really just does damage, doesn't really count for anything else. The other skills are ones we're looking either to rank up or use later, like Jericho's ability. We may need to rank that up and use that as our finisher, but we really would like to use our ultimate. So we're going to go ahead and click this ability here and let it play through. So you can see we're starting to get points up now. We used a rank 1 skill, plus, debuff, and then critical damage occurred. Rank 1 skill debuff, and then sadly Gustav, just like the king's ability, didn't really do much there. So we end up getting lucky. We got 2 of the cards that we really wanted to get. We got a freeze, and then we also got a heal. So we're gonna be able to heal, make sure everybody's HP is up a little bit for the end game. But sadly we didn't see any other Jericho cards, which is kind of worrisome because we do want to be able to get Jericho's ultimate off, or we could use King's if it ends up being that way. So we're gonna move over and move King's abilities over here. We're gonna cast the debuff ability, we're gonna use Gustav's ability, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use Jericho's ability. Again, I'm trying to get her ultimate, I'm trying to get her crit chance up, in which time she would need to do that. Now, I'm saving off on my buff ability, which would again give me 8 points to try to tier 2 it up, which we have. We also have a Jericho tier 2 we can use, so we're gonna be able to pass all of the tier 2 abilities that we need to be, rank 2 skills. I keep saying tier 2, rank 2 skills that we'll need to cast. So let's go ahead and move these around. So I'm going to wait for this for the final turn. Going to move that there. Excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and put the heal on because I'm worried about our HP. I'm going to move this over here, and then I'm going to use it from Jericho. That way, Jericho now has her ultimate for next turn. Her crit chance should be 100%. She's going to crit on her ultimate. And we are ready to go in the next turn, which will be buff. Let's see. We have 3 ultimates as well. This is going to be kind of insane. Okay, this is kind of crazy because we have a lot of things going right for us in this run because we don't have a tier 3 freeze, which is really hard to get anyway. But we're going to go ahead and cast all this stuff. We're going to do it in a weird order because I don't want the boss to die to some of these ultimates. So sadly, King's ultimate's off the table. He does too much damage. We're not going to be able to get those 20 points. But what I'll do is I'll cast, let's see, make sure I can do this right. Helbram's ultimate. Let's see, Helbram's ultimate buff. Yeah, Helbram's ultimate, because I don't want to buff it. Buff, freeze, Jericho's ultimate. So that's going to be 40 points from just the ultimates. We're going to get points from debuffing, points from buffing. You'll see them all start popping up. We finally used all our rank 2 abilities that we needed to do. And now we're going to get a tier. This is only going to be 80%, not 200%, but it's definitely going to die. And we're going to see how we did with our points. So we did 278,000 because she got the crit off. Crit damage is insane with Jericho, and we got the 80% from the buff. Let's see how we did when it comes to the points. 489. So pretty strong. Nothing compared to... Well, I mean, I wouldn't say nothing compared to. Not as high as I did before with the 500. We got negative 159 or 100 negative 59 points for the turns used. So again, as turns go on, you get more and more deducted, which really starts to add up and suck. I have heard of stall comps where you don't really care about that for a little bit and you just stall out and just keep buffing and debuffing and doing damage and ultimates that maybe like ultimates that don't do damage. Like for example, the SSR Elizabeth, her ultimate doesn't do damage, it like heals, right? So I wouldn't have to worry about that there at the end. If I had her, I could just hit her ultimate and get 20 more points. You can see that we get points like we've all talked about. You can go through here, see all the points that you got, what you missed out on, and then it shows you like the special ones for the week that you got. So I got everything that I needed to get besides the demon hero in my team, but I go ahead and skip that because that's only 10 points. So if we add that to our points, we got 499. 489 is really good, and with Meliodas, we wouldn't be able to pull that off anyway, or another demon that you may want to use. So this is where I got in this fight. Now again, I had to run this thing 20, 30 times or something like that to get to this point. Where I got a tier 3 ice, and kind of like everything you just saw line up was there, but we also had tier 3 ice. So we did even more damage, which boosted my score up pretty high. You guys have to run this a while, guys, depending on how high you want your score to be. But overall, I hope this video helped you with understanding how to do the fight, what you're looking for, and understanding there is some RNG factors into it. So you should just go and have fun, practice using your teams, and slowly work up to it, because it's going to be a weekly thing, guys. So don't be too worried if you can't get too high. Maybe some of your whaley, grindy guildmates can help you out in that. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below with any questions you have about this fight. I'll try to answer with, you know, different units you may think is good. I'll try to get a hold of you and talk about it in the comment section. Subscribe for future content. Catch me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Claic Yuzolt, where I'll be fighting this boss a lot more. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.